Hi, welcome to Gary's Grow Your Own Food. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about which is better, your hybrids or your open pollinated / heirloom. I'm going to use heirloom and open pollinated kind of the same. I do want to get kind of the elephant out of the room, that everyone's going to first think about. Just remember, open pollinated or heirloom has really nothing to do with GMO tomatoes or any other plants. I will say, because the same time I'm doing the video, I did it first and I didn't like the quality, so I'm doing it again. Didn't realize, and I did about a week ago, and then I found out a couple of days ago that there is a new, actually it was yesterday, there is a new genetically modified tomato seed that's being marketed to gardeners. It's called the purple tomato. Not going to get into that, whether I'm not going to be growing that one, and it's expensive. It's for $20 to buy 10 seeds. It does say, I thought it was interesting, because I printed out, it's from Norfolk Healthy Produce, and I think that's the only thing that they sell is this seed. And this first year it's been made available. And the thing that you have to, terms and conditions, said by purchasing this tomato, you're accepting the seeds, fruit, and plant material are only allowed in the U.S. The seeds are a patented variety and are sold to enjoy in your home garden and with your local community. No sales of fruit, seeds, or plants are permitted in this agreement, including any derived varieties. In other words, if you cross it and it has that gene in it, you're not allowed to, sell that seed or whatever. So basically, you can't sell the produce, you can't sell the plants that you grew from the seeds. It's a, have all these restrictions. Now, it is the only seed that gardeners will have available that's GMO. So all these places you see it say, we sell no GMO seeds, that's true. But that's true for everybody, except for this one company. And that's it, they're the only ones that's selling it. So it has changed just a little bit, but still, you don't have to worry about that. It has nothing to do with hybrids, it has nothing to do with open pollinated. In fact, that tomato, they said, was inbred or basically an open pollinated variety. So it should be true. So what's the difference in a hybrid and open pollinated? Well, hybrid, basically, you have two parents. You have parent A and parent B, and they're different. And you'll take those two, you'll breed them together, that'd be called the F1 generation. And that's plant C. And that plant, that F1 hybrid is a superior variety than either A or B. So that's why you breed them together. And the A and B, I think, are almost always open pollinated seeds. So you know what you're getting there, and then you breed them together. The problem comes in when you try to breed F1 generation together. And you can do that, but you're not sure what you're going to get. Now, some companies will take that F1 hybrid because all seed varieties start out as the F1 hybrid. And they'll take the F1 hybrid and breed those together, and then they'll kick out the outliers. They'll kick out what doesn't match that F1 hybrid. And they'll do that for several generations. You have F1 generation, F2 generation, F3 generation. You keep breeding them back to each other to get rid of those genes that you don't want, that variation that you don't want, and you want that seed to breed true. And over 7 or 8 generations, sometimes you'll get a seed that will match that F1 hybrid and will also be able to breed to itself and produce, the type of plant that you're wanting. Now, they tried that with Sun Gold, and they never could get, they've got one called Sun Gold Select. Sun Gold regular one is a hybrid, but when you breed it together, there's a lot of diversity, and they may not ever be able to get all those extra genes out, because that may be part of why, it's the tomato that it is. Now, they have a open pollinated variety of Sun Gold, but it doesn't match the original Sun Gold. So there you go on that. Now, I grow both types. I grow hybrids and I grow open pollinated. So as far as which one's better, it just depends on your goal. It's what you're wanting to do. And if you're wanting to save seeds, man, go open pollinated. Those are going to breed true. You're going to have a seed that's when you save those seeds, they should produce the same thing, as long as they're not cross-pollinated with something else. They should produce the same type of plant. And hybrids won't do that. You can plant them, but like I say, there's a lot of variations. You don't know what you're going to get, per se. Number 2, if you're going for a production, I would lean toward, have a tendency to go with a hybrid. Hybrids are good. They're really, most of the time they're bred for production. They're bred to make tomatoes. And you know, they also have some other things, but you know, that's their primary goal. So if you really need production, don't have very many plants, check out the hybrids. You know, don't be scared of them. We've been doing this for many generations. There's some mosquitoes around because it's southeast Texas. Number 3, disease resistance. Now there is some disease resistance on some open pollinated, but normally they're breeding for disease resistance with a hybrid. So if you're in an area that has a lot of disease pressure, or like there's a tomato spotted wilt virus that's in the southeast really bad, they've got a plant strain that has that gene, and they've been able to breed into a lot of the hybrids those type of that resistance. And you only get that, I think, with the hybrids. So if you have a lot of disease pressure and you need a good disease package, go with your hybrids. You know, pollinate, just very few things. I did know one of them that kind of got me was that had some late blight. It was the I forgot the name of it now. Once the camera goes, my brain kind of goes too. But anyway, you do get, sometimes you get some disease resistance with some, but usually just one thing. It's not a multiple. You know, some of these others, they may have 7 or 8 things or 10 things that they're resistant to. So when they're hybrids. Fourth thing is storage. One thing I've learned, if you do a lot of heirlooms, I know Dr. Wyche's, I believe the tomatoes that way. You pick that thing when it's ripe, you set it on the counter, you got 1 or 2 days to eat it. If you wait 3 or 4 days, it goes bad on you, start getting spots. They really don't hold up well on all your hybrids. So think about that. And I'm not bad mouthing open pollinated. Like I say, they they're good also. And one problem they had with with the hybrids, back in the 70s and 80s, they made, or I think 60s, 70s, they had a tomato that basically you could take it out, you could before, it would turn red way before it got ripe. You set it on your counter, and for 3 or 4 months you could let it sit there and it would not go bad. Now, it tasted lousy. Okay, it had no taste whatsoever. But it would, if you had it in the store and you were selling it, it would stay there for a long time. But that kind of started the deal of hybrids don't have good taste. And that's what, with open pollinated, especially your heirlooms, taste is, you know, the best heirlooms will beat the best open pollinated. Other way around. Yeah, the best open, okay, I get this right. The best heirloom open pollinated tomatoes will beat the hybrids. Okay, now they are getting better with the hybrids. They are starting to breed flavor back into them. They will cross with the heirloom. So you have an heirloom like your the Purple Boy was a Purple Cherokee bred in with basically a Better Boy, and now they got a Purple Boy. So you've got the flavor, trying to get the best of both worlds. But still, probably your highest deal of heirlooms is good. The problem is, yeah, heirlooms are good, but are you willing to take a tomato that makes 3 or 4 or 5 tomatoes per plant? Some people are, some people aren't. Here's the way I do it, okay? I plant both of them. I plant the hybrids because I want them to be the workhorses. I want them to be able to pump out the tomatoes when I need them. If I want them for processing, if I want to give away, whatever, I want to make sure that they make it. Or if you have a bad run with diseases or something, those should always make. However, I also grow the open pollinated. Now, when it comes to cherry tomatoes, I really don't tell a lot of times. I mean, I have to go back and look because to me, cherry tomatoes can make anyway. I've had a lot of cherry tomatoes that are open pollinated. They made really good. I've had ones that, you know, one of the best tasting tomatoes out there is the Sun Gold, and it's a hybrid. So there is some give and take, but I will give it that your average heirloom is going to beat the average hybrid. But just because it's an heirloom doesn't mean it's a good tasting one. Mortgage lifter in our area just doesn't taste very good, and it's an old heirloom. It does produce better, but it doesn't have the flavor for us. But you know, it's your choice, it's your garden. But if you're a young gardener, don't be scared of the hybrids. Now, I know my mom, there was a tomato called Super Fantastic, and she loved that tomato. turned out it was a hybrid tomato. It would produce a lot of tomatoes, but flavor wasn't that great for us, so some people say they like it. It had a core this big around. You cut a third of that tomato away because it had a big core in it. Okay, so I never will grow super fantastic. But Mom was out purely for production. Had 6 people in the family. She wanted to make sure you got fed. So that was her key thing. She wanted to have a high production. Would I grow all hybrids? I probably never will. But I'll also always probably grow some hybrids. So, it's your choice. And I'm not trying to condemn either one. Which ones are better? It's according to what your goals are. If your goals is purely production, hybrid's is going to beat the heirlooms most times. If you're looking for taste, it's the other way around. But there is a happy medium. You can grow more than one type, and that's my suggestion to you: is pick out 3 or 4 of the hybrids that you really like, grow those. Pick out some of the heirloom that you really like. See if they'll make good enough to justify growing. I mean, if I get a tomato that's going to make 1 tomato per plant, I don't care how good it tastes. I'm not going to grow it. But if you got one that makes, 5 or 6 tomatoes, realize it's not going to produce a lot, but those are going to be your really good tasting. Anyway, hope that I helped you, and see you next time.